Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Burning Questions podcast on Fantasy Football Scout. We have the OG, well, not the OG actually, Praz wouldn't take kindly to that, the second crew of Burning Questions. It is myself, Harry, and we have Andy back. How are we doing, Sonaldo?
It's really nice to be back. Good to see my friend. Good to see all the viewers. Coming off of a very high game week 34, so excited to pod with you today. It's been a while.
Yeah, flying. Last time you were on, I think you were about 1.5 million, and it's just been a sea of green arrows back to back. We were having a look, and I think you've had one red arrow in the past 15 game weeks or something like that. So, yeah, like as you said, you weren't. I said, oh, you've done really well, and you sort of laughed, and like you're not that happy with where you are still, but. 14 out of 15 green arrows is something, to show that you can claw it back from that position. It's got to be something that you've learned a lot from as well.
Yeah, dude, Harry, it's like super interesting because I was like last few seasons, I was around the maybe 20, 30, 40K. And when you're at that point, like top 10K is so close, right? So you can almost feel it. And everything, I think everything has to go right,
Yeah.
like in the last few weeks to break into that. And this season's just been much, much tougher. Obviously, I was in like the 2 million range for maybe like 9 or 10 game weeks throughout the mid-season. And actually, like I've been really enjoying the climb, if
Mm.
anything. And now I have some interesting targets in mind. Let's see where I can get rank wise. But I've actually been enjoying it quite a bit. It's been fun couple of
Mm.
game weeks and just like FPL 30 game week 34 free hit was a reminder of like why we play this game and like why we love it so much, Harry. Because like I was
Everything
just
went
like
right.
rank didn't matter. It was just like wow, like everything's just going my way, and every player is scoring. Like imagine a defensive four of all having above 10 points, right? Like that's so ridiculous. But that high was it was amazing to feel. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got your team up on screen now. 101 points on free hit, 12 for Jose Sarr, 11 for Sessegnon, 11 for 8 Nori, and of course 15 for Trippier. What a free hit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, let's say it's like pure luck, right? Like because it was just a one or two positions. Everyone had the few players in mind, so you just like hit the jackpot on it. But
Yeah.
the storytelling is going to be great. Like, imagine you have a free hit goalkeeper and he not only has a clean sheet but saves a penalty. Like
Yeah.
ridiculous, right? So that was great. Trippier out of nowhere, like double assist return, like amazing. Nori Sessegnon with a 90 something goal or like
The
how
Sessegnon
ridiculous.
one, I'm trying to work out if we were really lucky with the Sessegnon points or not. Because
Yeah.
we were lucky. We were unlucky that he didn't play right wing, right? Because he could have been further forward and, what could he have done from that position? But then we're also lucky that he wouldn't have been on the pitch in the 92nd minute if he'd have been playing right wing. He
Right.
would have been taken off and he wouldn't have been on the pitch at that moment to score the goal regardless. But yeah, like as Manon is saying in the chat, I don't remember a week where we've had so many defensive points. I think that's probably the most this season, and it happens to fall in the week that we're all playing the free hit and we all need it.
Yeah, and the most glorious part about all of this was everything was happening at the same time in live action. So you're not, you can't watch all the games, right?
Mm.
So like out of nowhere, I'm hearing Cunha scoring like 18 goals in one game. Like, yeah, it was great. And of course, Luis Diaz delivers as well the next day. Like, one to remember for a long time. And at the same time, like, you like as happy as I am, I also feel a lot for the people that didn't go free hit
Mm.
because the variance was like extreme to a ridiculous degree. So,
Yeah.
I think I am celebrating my points, but I do feel for those that might have probably lost like 30, 40 points to the field in
Mm.
terms of free hit this. So big,
I
big swing.
I don't remember a week where a specific chip on its own has swung as much as it has. Maybe a specific triple captain week has, but a lot of the time when there's a triple captain week, there's other chips played that week. So you sort of cover it up, even if the triple captain does really well. At least your bench booster scored, 10, 15 points to soften the blow a little bit. I don't remember, and maybe it's just short-sighted, a week where a chip has done something like this, where if you didn't play it, even if you planned perfectly for it, the free hit picks that you just couldn't own without a free hit, like a Trippier, 8 Nori, Sessegnon, like you might have had one of those, but the fact that on a free hit you've gained, like, it's more that if you're not on free hit, you've lost like 30, 40 points. If you are on free hit, there are people on free hit still on 80 points, which looks great, and still on a red arrow because of how well a lot of those picks have done. I have one blank in my team at the moment. You have a few more, but you've also done better in defense. Everyone in the chat, feel free to remind us of exactly how many times last week you told me and Tom not to pick Cole Palmer on our free hits. My only blank of the free hit so far is Cole Palmer with a 3-pointer. Yeah.
Do you regret it in hindsight? Like, do you think it was a bad decision or?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah.
The signs were there. The signs have been there for a long time. Everton are a team who are naturally very difficult to break down. Chelsea's defensive data was getting much better, so I don't mind the Cucurella pick, despite only 6. The attacking data was getting much, much worse for us, and we can show that. And I suppose the thing is, I didn't look at other picks that I really liked. There wasn't someone that really stood out to me, and I don't think there has been. Like, who would I have gone instead? Yeah. I probably would have gone Mbeumo, and that's probably the one that I would have gone. But outside of that, like, Kluivert didn't do anything. Iwobi didn't do anything. Barnes didn't do anything. So, like, where realistically would I have gone? I regret it because watching the game, I just think, like, he was just nowhere near it. And there was that one where Cucurella had a shot and he could have, thrown himself at the ball, but he was nowhere really near a return. I maybe should have... It's more that I don't think that any other option has done any better, really. Like, who would you have picked instead of him?
Exactly. Like, you can regret the Palmer pick in hindsight, but I actually didn't have like a strong inclination to where to go for the midfield picks for the free hit last. It was a little bit iffy with that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th spot, right? So a 5th spot. So I totally get the hindsight. But
people in the chat saying Bowen. I just thought Brighton would win the game, and they did. Now Bowen got 2 returns, is in it, but I was just never going to pick Bowen away at Brighton over Palmer at home. But again, maybe I should consider Palmer a worse asset. And I know as a Chelsea fan, it's always difficult because as soon as someone says, Harry, that's your Chelsea bias, you then start to question yourself because I put him in thinking he was a good pick regardless of being a Chelsea fan. But then when people mention it, you start to think, well, is it my Chelsea bias? And then you start to double doubt yourself a little bit. But I still think he was a fine pick. Bowen, in hindsight, is done well. Of course, I'd rather have Mbeumo in that position now at the moment. But yeah, like it is what it is. We're where we are.
There might have been a factor of like we had so much money to be spent as well. Like you just wanted to, I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of that as well, just spending money on a premium player. So it is what it is. But I mean, look, man, you're in a, like you're in great positions. What, 6K, 87 points with, of course, Chris Wood to rise. So
what a guy.
Yeah, exactly. So
I just needed a piece of that game on Thursday. I was just like, I can't sit here all week and not have a player to play on Thursday. And I didn't feel the Jimenez pick. So that's where we're at.
Gameweek's still not over.
Yeah, one to play. Listen, it's a much smaller green arrow percentage-wise for me compared to you. I'm up about 1,000. Chris Wood basically going up against Mbeumo. If Mbeumo does really well and Chris Wood blanks, then like, yeah, in theory, if it would take Mbeumo like a 15-pointer and Chris Wood to blank for me to be on a red arrow. I'd basically take anything upwards from where we are. I think the average person has like 0.8 players to play in that game. So there is still a decent amount of ownership, but some of that ownership is like Mbeumo against the Forest defense. So even if Mbeumo does well, like it does knock out the Forest clean sheet a little bit. So I have a little bit of balance on that side and then just hope that Chris would get something from it. But given that a lot of the other forwards like Evan Nilsson, You went with Welbeck and Jimenez didn't do anything. I don't feel too bad about it. It's not like I feel like he needs to get something to match what I could have got. That anything he gets, it feels like is a bonus.
Yeah, it's just pure gaining rank at this point. So good position for you to be in. Yeah.
Just before we get into the rest of it, we are still at time of recording waiting on fixture announcements for the fixtures that could move from game week 37 either to the midweek of game week 37 or to the midweek of game week 36. It is currently 11:30 on Wednesday. I'm hopeful that we get them soon. Like, it's 2 weeks now until the midweek of 36. So if they are going to move them into 36, they kind of needed to get their act together and do it pretty quickly. I think the general opinion seems to be that they're not going to move now because Villa are not in the FA Cup final. They don't need to put it in the midweek before. Like, there's no need for teams in the FA Cup final to play the midweek before the final. No one really wants that. The FA don't want that because it will depreciate from the appeal of the final. You know, the teams don't want it. So the midweek of 37 seems to make more sense, apart from the Spurs one, which it just comes down to, do they want to, give Spurs a better chance in the Europa League final or do they not? And they haven't done it before. And they've actually had precedent with Villa before not to do it. Like, Villa asked earlier on in the season to move a fixture and they said no. So if they were to move this against Villa now, I think there'd be a little bit of pushback on that. So, and with Villa being at home, Villa have like the extra power there that they can just say, no, like, we're the home team. Like, we can't get the staff, we can't get the policing, etc., etc. So, yes. So Disgusting is asking in the chat, would we get an announcement saying no fixture changes? Yes, we would, because in theory, they are still scheduled for the Sunday and they can't be played on the Sunday because of the FA Cup final on the Saturday. So they have to move regardless. It's just where they move to. So we will get, like, in on the app, the Palace Wolves game is 3:00 in the Sunday, which is 24 hours after they're meant to be playing in the FA Cup final. So we will hear. I don't know if I don't know what happens with the Spurs one. Like, will they announce that they're not moving it? Or will that just stay where it is?
I think they just not say anything, right? Like, I feel like I've never seen an announcement of like the fixtures just staying where it is. No?
Yeah, maybe. But then it's the fact that Spurs have asked for it to move. So maybe one of the club accounts, maybe the Premier League don't announce it, but maybe the clubs just go, it's staying where it is. But I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we're here today. If not, I'm still very confident we'd hear by the end of the week because they, yeah.
And if this week passes, you wait for any announcement for the rest of the season?
I mean, if we didn't hear this game week, it's almost impossible that it goes into 36 because then they'd be given teams a week and a half's notice. So it seems very, very unlikely that we'd get doubles if they're not announced this week. So what we're going to do today is really have a look at the teams that we've got left and try and pick out a few things that we can talk about and some players to buy. Let's do the obvious ones first, right? Brian Mbeumo feels like the most obvious buy probably of the season, it feels like, with every single person. Let us know in the chat if you're not planning on buying Brian Mbeumo this week, because I would love to find someone who doesn't have it as part of their plans this week. But looking at the fixtures they've got left, United at home, of course, United have already threatened to rotate in this game. Ipswich, Fulham, Wolves away. He feels like a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, I feel like game week 34, Harry, was like potentially the last really, really big sort of points chasing kind of game week. I mean, like, it had to go right. And even so, like, it's difficult within that game week itself to really differentiate yourself because there was limited pool of free hit players you could pick,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so this was the worry for me, right? Because I think for someone like you, depending on your end season goals, like maybe your goal is to shoot up and try to get in the top 1K, who knows, right? But regardless, like, a lot of us have this idea of finishing the best we can, and if you're around the top 10K or inside it, it almost plays out really beautifully for you because of course things can go wrong, but like you said, Mbeumo is such an obvious pick right now. Like, I like for me, it's like, who do I if I was not to go Mbeumo, is there someone I can pick for the sake of like battling against Embuemo, and it's not easy, right?
Yeah.
And so on top of that, the doubles are gone, most likely. So the only way I can think of is like differentiating yourself with captaincy week in and week out. But
Hmm.
even then, like such a mixed bag of captaincies as well. Things have to go right. So yeah, it's been I think it's really tough to figure out how to chase at this point. So if that was actually the question I was going to have for you throughout the pod is like for people like me who, at this point just want to, shoot for the stars a little bit more, like how do we differentiate ourselves? And maybe the answer is not to back against Embuemo, who seems too good to be true.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like, yeah, we've got 4 weeks left and we can start to back against some of the popular players. But if you think Mburma is going to be the highest point scorer across the next 4 weeks, like why are you backing against him? Like for the sake of it, I suppose. Like we're at that point where maybe you need to, but if you really think that Mburma is the highest point scorer, like you should still buy him because points are better than no points. I do think there are a couple, and we'll keep that in mind of, who are the most obvious ones and maybe who's a slightly different version of it. For example, like people in the chat, I really like Jared Bowen as a pick. So if you were
Let's talk
really,
about that.
if you were really really chasing, another option if you don't want to go in Burmo because you are chasing that much would probably be Jared Bowen in my eyes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, first of all, on Embuemo, right? Like,
Yeah.
we'll see how he plays Friday, but you know, United definitely going to be rotated, I assume, right, in preparation
Yep.
for semifinal. Then they have Ipswich, and I believe Ipswich has been the most vulnerable team from the left side,
Hmm.
conceded the most from the left side, which is Mbomo's territory, and are really bad at set pieces as well. I
Yeah.
don't know. Do you have that
I've got the
with you?
graphic. Yeah. So they have almost double set piece
Exactly.
goals conceded than any other team.
Exactly. And he's like pretty good at getting assists off corners. Like I don't know the exact stat of how many he had off corners, but we know he's on all set pieces, right? So
Yeah.
that's like it just makes sense, right? He's gonna probably do really well against United, let's assume. Then he's got this amazing fixture in 36, and then 37, 38 not bad either. And Mbuemo just trickles along, and he
Mm.
can give you that 15 pointer. So maybe the idea is to captain him at the right time. But even this week, I don't think he's like a differential captain because I think a lot of people are actually going to go for him
Yeah.
as captain. So that's my only thing with Mboma. There's no doubt he's like the obvious transfer you should get this week, but I'm just playing in my head how if there's an opportunity to back against him, if there is a way, and yeah, maybe Bowen is the
Mm.
alternative option, but a lot of people are also going to just go for both. So
Yeah. I'm considering both.
but yeah, what do you think?
The only thing I'd say on Mbomo is they play Thursday, Sunday, and they're not used to that. Now they have had 10 days of preparation for this Forest game, so it's not that bad, but that's a very quick turnaround for a club that's not used to it. Like if you want to create a narrative against Mbomo, that has to be the leading factor that they play Thursday night and then Sunday. I think it's Sunday like 2 o'clock as well. So yeah, Sunday at 2 o'clock. So the turnaround is really, really not very good. Like Friday will be a recovery day. Saturday they'll do some training for the match, and then they're into it in Sunday. So the preparation for this United game is likely to be pretty minimal. So if you're trying to find a reason not to go for him this week, that's probably it, right?
Yeah, yeah. But it is I'm going to be very frank with you. It is a bit of a weak argument, right? Like I know
Yeah.
you're just making it, but that shouldn't be a big factor in my opinion.
No,
I'm sure
especially given
yeah.
United also play Thursday and have said that they are going to heavily rotate in this game, basically. So, yeah, there is very little arguments not to go there.
I mean, other interesting play here is if we had some extra option transfers, or maybe you're willing to take a last four game week hit. I thought last week, as I was like preparing for a free hit, a lot of the interesting sort of tweets and articles that came out were really talking about stacking up on teams and like how
Hmm.
stacking up on teams over the course of a short like few game weeks actually could be very, very powerful. Over the course of a long game weeks, it's not because you want
Yep.
to like spread the like stats from different teams, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but maybe the idea could be like doubling up on Brentford attack alongside
Yeah.
Mbeumo as an option, but I think that would require hits for most people because we just have spent so many hits, and then
Mm.
you still want some transfers for potentially interesting moves in 36 and like a Watkins in 37. So not sure if that's like super viable, but yeah, maybe
I
instead of going,
Yeah, I feel like no one's got more than one transfer unless they're on wildcard this week. Feels like everyone used them in 32, 33. Like I've got one, you've got one. If anyone in the chat has got more than one transfer, or if you're on wildcard, then let us know. But yeah, it does feel like Mbermo just feels like he needs to be part of it. If you wanted to punt on Bowen, like I get it, but it feels like more outside of those, then where can you start to make a little bit of ground?
so if you go for Bowen, Harry, are you like, are you eventually bringing Mbeumo in, or are you just going Bowen versus Mbeumo for the rest of the season?
I feel like if you're not buying Mbermo this week, you're not buying him.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
because every week he's going to be like a great buy. But and so so if you think he's a good buy, then you just buy him now. Like if
Yeah,
you're
I
not
mean,
gonna if you're not gonna do it now, and then suddenly in 36 you're gonna go, yeah, I'm gonna buy in Burmo. Like you may as well just buy him this week.
yeah, yeah.
There's no reason to delay it. I don't think.
I mean, this is a messed up way of thinking about it, but if I was like putting my life on the line of who gets more points between Mbeumo and Bowen for the next 4 game weeks, I think I would trust my life with Mbeumo, you know? So I'm just like wrestling in my head if this is the risk worth taking. And for me at this point, maybe.
I agree over the course of the season, but if I asked you this week specifically, I think it's much closer.
Okay,
But
okay.
but Bowen against Spurs versus United against Brentford against United, I think it's close this week between the two. I think
Yeah.
for the course of the season, when Brentford then walk into Ipswich, Fulham, Wolves, whereas West Ham walk into United away after their Europa League semi-finals, Forest, and then Ipswich, I think Mbeumo's better over the season. But I think this week, you know, I think it's closer.
All right, but let's segue into this team in trouble in West Ham because
Mm,
if you look at your just FPL app and you're only thinking about FPL, and Bowen's ticking along with, I think he has like 4 goals, 4 assists in like 11 games since injury. So it looks good, right? It looks
yeah.
good on paper. We're hearing he plays central, like blah blah blah. But by the way, West Ham's 17th place. Like they're not going to get relegated, obviously, but they're not good. And like I feel like there's no winning mentality. That Brighton game at the end, because I had Welbeck, I was watching it. They were just literally sitting back, getting attacked wave after wave, like uh like toothless, right? And switching off from quarters, like I thought Kudus was okay throughout that game.
Mm.
Paqueta, like he's a Brazilian, starting 11 player and looks awful. Like Souček is not the same player that we're used to. No pressing, no closure, and I think Bowen playing central is not good because I think they're missing a player like Antonio, who's like that focal point, Harry.
Mm.
So
Well, they've got
the team is
Fulkrug now, but he's not starting, is he?
Yeah, like the West Ham team, and I think West Ham fans will agree. I'm not saying anything bad about your club. It's just that they need a new season. They need new transfers. I think a lot of players are overpaid and probably don't want to be there. Like my 2 cents. So at the same time, they are playing Spurs, who's not not playing great at all, and they're much more focused and going to rotate for Europa. And I'm hearing that Bowen might move a little bit more wider. I think Kudus is also an interesting option as well if you want to go super, super differential.
Mm.
But it's not like Bowen gives you like maybe Bowen is ticking along because his stats show, but it's not like the team is giving you any sense of confidence to back against
No,
and Brentford, right?
no, I
It's too
agree.
hard.
But Bowen, I think's the only one. Like he's on set pieces, he's probably on pens. He is playing very far forward, and the fixtures are not bad. Like generally, we wouldn't consider it, but I think Bowen just combines enough things that he can be considered. But I
Mhm,
agree. Like
mhm.
I wouldn't pick him over Mbermo. But if for the sake of trying to find a differential, if you're looking for one, I don't mind him.
Yeah, yeah. That's I think that's the best way to put it. It is Embuemo. If especially if you have a very good rank, I mean we're talking like EO stuff here, but like I would go Embuemo. But it is a shot in it like it is a shot in the dark going
Mm.
for I think going Bowen over and Bowen. Yeah.
A team I actually do want to discuss, and I've seen quite a lot of people discuss them, is Crystal Palace. Not necessarily, no, well, not to buy. I've got a triple up, and a lot of people are carrying a triple up. They've got Forest at home this week. Then it's Spurs away, Wolves at home, Liverpool away. I'm seeing people consider selling their Palace assets, partly because
Mhm.
they haven't been great when we've owned them. They've got an FA Cup final, which is probably going to be their focus on the horizon as well. How do you feel on them? Because I've got no plans on selling Palace.
Yeah, I don't think I mean, I'm happy with them right now. I think there's talks about people selling Mateta. Not sure why, but
Hmm.
they look good, right. They're in form. They just won over the weekend, so
Saar, of course, it
I
is. Saar gets his goals in the cup just when we all don't need him to.
Sar's a very frustrating FPL player, Harry.
Yeah,
Like, remember that sort of like sequence between game week sequence between like 21 to like 26, 28, 7. A lot of people owned him.
yeah,
Like, he really didn't deliver. And as
yeah,
soon as we sell him, he starts scoring like every other game. So he's like one of those types of players. But I don't think he's like I think we have to put in our heads like he's not a haul machine. He's like a one return, if he does return FPL points type of player, I think.
yeah,
So he's, yeah.
yeah. People saying in the chat that they want to get rid of Saar. People in the chat saying
I get
sell.
it.
Like I do get it. They've been really frustrating, and he hauls in the FA Cup, but I don't know. Like I still look at again. Like Palace have a full week off, and then they play Forest on Monday night at home, who've played on Thursday.
Yeah.
I mean,
On Palace, sorry, on Palace, Munoz, you would start Munoz against
yeah,
Nottingham Forest no matter what, right?
yeah. Guy's the most attacking defender in the game.
Yeah.
No
What a
way
player.
anyone, no way anyone's got three better defenders to play this week than Munoz. Like
I
if
don't
I
know,
was,
man. Uh,
he'd be close to going in if I was on a free hit this week.
yeah. No, I agree. I
Okay,
agree.
maybe Everton, like if you piled into Everton, but still, like outside of Everton and maybe City, like he's the best defender in the game this week.
If at the end of the season there was the FPL like Ballon d'Or player awards, he would be
He's got to be up
potentially
there.
in the top,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely in the top 10 this year.
Guy's a beast. People are like saying,
Yeah.
yeah, he's going to get reduced minutes. He's played basically every game this season. And even in the doubles, he played all of the games across the four doubles. And now they have one game a week,
Yeah.
basically, until
Yeah.
the end of the season.
Dude, he's a lunatic. At the end of games, he's
Yeah,
like he wants a goal. He's like, Mateta, pass me the ball.
yeah.
I'm your striker,
Yeah,
So
it's like you see clips of players running through in goal, and like stood next to him every week is just Munoz, just being like, "I'm here as well." Just like the guy is playing right wing. I have absolutely no I will hold Munoz until the end of the season. He'll play for me 35, 36, 37. Okay, I'll probably bench him away at Liverpool, but outside of that, he's just playing every week. No plan on doing anything with him. Mateta's
there's always a
interesting because of the
sorry, go ahead.
alternatives in the
Mm,
forward line. I don't think we need to sell Mateta, but his minutes are a bit worrying. His returns have
mm,
also not been fantastic. So Mateta's interesting because of the alternatives, I think.
mm.
There are some good forwards that you can buy. And I think the forwards you buy are where you can make up your ground compared to midfielders and defenders. Well, midfielders in particular.
And who do you have in mind? Who are some options?
So the one I would love to buy is Ollie Watkins.
Hmm.
So with Rashford looking like he's out for the season, if you've got the money and Watkins has Fulham, Bournemouth, Spurs, Man United in the last four and is going to play, probably 90 pretty much every week now,
Mhm.
he's got to be right up there, right?
What do you think the best entry point is this week if you're going to go for it?
I mean, Fulham at
Or
home, I've no issue with that.
right, but with one transfer, it would be Mbeumo first, right?
Yes, yeah, it would. Yeah,
And then probably Bournemouth doesn't sound that great. Maybe.
No, but Villa are a team that have still got a lot to play for, and will probably have a lot to play for even onto the final game of the season. So you have that added benefit of Villa as well.
True.
Nick is saying Isak out to Watkins in 36. As a Chelsea fan, I'm not sure I'll be doing that. They play us at 12 o'clock on the Sunday after we've been away in Europe on the Thursday night. I think I'll be keeping Alexander Isak for that. But 37, Watkins at home, if it stays in 37, Watkins at home to a Spurs team who are going to practically send their C team, I can't think of much better. He might even be the best captaincy option that week.
I've never seen you with any sort of confidence on your own team, Harry. Maybe it's just this season. Like, you always want to attack your own team, FPL.
I'm not selling Isak before he plays us at home. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Have some faith, man. Your defense is getting better. Like, I don't know if you realize, but Chelsea defense looks solid.
We actually have. So I've got some of the data for that. Our attacking data has been horrible over the past 6. But defensively, we've been right up there. I think we're like the second best defense in the league over the past 6 weeks, only behind that of Liverpool. We've actually had better data than Arsenal in that period as well. So I get that. I get that, Chelsea's defense has been pretty solid.
Yeah. I think like Kesavan, shout out Kesavan, makes a good point. Entry point for Watkins is 37. But the issue with that is everyone else is probably bringing him at the same time. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
maybe not. Maybe that doesn't matter if you're, high up there. But I'm trying to find some like differential. Like
I think there's lots of forwards like Visser, as you said. Chris Wood, I think, is another one. Like Sally in the chat, Haaland. Apparently, Haaland was back in training this week.
Ooh.
I'm sure I read that.
Okay.
So, like, if we walk into game week 36 and City have Southampton away and Haaland's available.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm a little bit conscious. Like, I'm planning on doing Foden to Mbeumo this week. And I could also do Saka to Bowen. But if I do that, I don't leave enough money to buy Haaland. So I'm like, I need to leave a way to get Haaland if he was going to be back. I'm sure FPL Main Road tweeted. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I'm sure he said Haaland and Rodri back in training. Yeah, he did last week.
Yeah. But training means one thing. Like, when are they fully going to be ready? Assuming,
yeah, it's true.
3 game weeks time.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to think about Haaland. I think you're in a position where you can forget about it.
Yeah.
It's guys like me that want Haaland to be back, like potentially 36.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So forwards, we've got Watkins, we've got Visser we've spoken about, Chris Wood. Any love for Cunha? The issue with Cunha is City away this week, but City have conceded chances. It's probably not the best week to buy. Like, he's fine, but if I had to buy when it wasn't City, I'd prefer that.
Yeah, Cunha at 36 sounds fantastic. I mean, Brighton,
Palace, Brentford.
He's a stud, man. He's a stud. He's also in the FPL Ballon d'Or in top 10 this year for sure.
Maybe apart from when he gets sent off all the time.
Yeah. I mean, he's like, the way I know that is because he destroyed me this season. So it's almost too good to be true. Yeah, he's a good shout. Someone I'm definitely gonna think about.
As FPL Freddy has said, though, the issue is his free transfers are very few now. So if you're going for differentials, you're probably going to either have to not go for the players you really want, or you're going to have to take hits to do it. And which of these players are really worth a hit? Like, Visser's not worth a hit.
No,
I don't think. Like, the majority of us have got Mateta, Isak, Marmoush. Who's taking a hit to sell one of them, really?
Maybe like that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're able to, like, because Mbeumo is such a obvious transfer, if you already have Wissa, for example, you go for Mbeumo and stack up on that team. Like, that's beautiful, I feel, right? So yeah, you're right. No more like hits doesn't sound great right now. I don't see any hits worth it right now, unless that double falls into place. So
But even if if we get the double and it's lots of teams, then maybe, but yeah. Doesn't fill me with that much excitement. I suppose for someone like I'm happy with my rank, I don't need to worry about it. But yeah, like game week
You're
37, Newcastle go away to Arsenal. All right, everyone will do
anyone
ease out to Watkins in
anyone in the
37.
anyone with a high rank right now is chilling. Like this is as easy as it gets. You just close your eyes and you go in Burmo this week. You go whoever the obvious guy is next week because it's hard. It's really hard to differentiate. But for guys like me, like I'm really looking at captaincy as a potential like
Hmm.
you know weight, right?
So let's do captaincy, right? Actually, no.
Okay.
We'll leave captaincy till the end. So we've done forwards, we've done midfielder. Oh, no, we haven't. We've done
Saka
midfielders
has.
really. It's so yeah. Saka. Let's talk Saka.
Mhm.
Is he an obvious sell?
I think so, right? Like, do people actually expect him to be starting this game?
No,
Yeah, that's my point. Like, I
but I
mean,
might bench
if
him.
you have, yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're if you're able to, like, if you're able to, like, maybe hold off on him till 37, and if they are out of Champions League, maybe like I don't know, he
The
could
issue is
be
I've
differential.
got I've got Foden, right? So I have an easier way to buy Mberbo than Saka. It feels weird that Saka is not the most obvious sell in my team.
Actually, what? But why don't you just keep Foden? What? Like, we're gonna
The,
get news maybe.
the guy hasn't played.
Uh-huh.
He was in the squad for both games in the double and didn't play a single minute off the bench in
Yeah, yeah,
either
yeah,
of them.
yeah.
He didn't
Harry,
start in the cup as well.
hold on. Is Man City the first game this
Yeah,
next
they
season?
are.
Oh, you just hold on. Just we're gonna get a leak, I feel.
I
Someone's gonna
feel like we
leak
don't
this.
feel like we don't ever get leaks anymore.
We always get Man City leaks. What are you talking about? It's always on
We didn't.
Twitter, no?
No, we didn't get it last week for the double.
Oh, maybe
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Saka's a start this week. With the result last night,
yeah.
I don't even have any confidence in their defence this week, particularly with Evan Nilsson not suspended as well.
That's what I was gonna ask you because okay, so first of all, we agree Saka's a sell, unless you could, like you said, sell someone else and just hold
If
on
Saka's
to the
your
team.
only way to Mbermo, I would sell Saka. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And we assume he either plays no minutes or maybe like comes off the bench for 30.
Oh, I expect him to play minutes, but it will be 20-30, I imagine.
Okay, okay, fair. Now, what do we do with the defense, dude?
Yeah, like so I tweeted this because I'm looking at because I've got the bench boost right because I'm looking at goalkeepers. David Raya has
Yeah.
Bournemouth at home, Liverpool away, Newcastle at home, Southampton away. Right? How many clean sheets do you think they keep in the last 4 games?
Hold on, let me look at it.
Bournemouth, Newcastle, Liverpool, Southampton.
Uh, Bournemouth, iffy. Liverpool, very iffy. Newcastle, iffy. Southampton, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so one. Like I think it's reasonable they keep one clean sheet and they don't keep one in the next 3 games. But I'm not sure it's worth like again, is it worth a hit to back against it? No. And I'm not using my only transfer on selling Raya, am I? So kind of feel like I'm just stuck with it.
It is tough. It is tough.
Like I'm not using a hit to buy Jordan Pickford, really, am I?
Yeah, and here I am tripled off on Arsenal
What is
defense.
it?
Uh, but at least the good thing is I have five playable defenders. Like I even considered starting Livermento this week, So
Yeah, but like I don't like the fixtures. Bournemouth, we think they're going to rotate.
Mhm.
Arsenal. It's in between their their two PSG games. Then it's Liverpool away, and then it's Newcastle. I don't like the fixtures at all.
But we don't have transfers to move off them.
This is
That's
it.
that's the
Is it
issue.
worth a hit? No.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Like I'm not taking a hit to back against the Arsenal defense. Like I'm just not doing that. It doesn't sound
And
like a
I'm
sensible thing.
exactly, and I'm not taking a hit to replace them because I still have playable defenders. I mean, the only way I would take a hit is someone like me who doesn't have Gvardiol. That's the only thing I would consider because I feel like Man City defense is pretty well set up for 35 to 38 with Southampton in 36. Like,
Yeah.
so maybe I have to make a defender move in 36, but yeah, yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
we don't
I
have,
don't mind Everton. Like for you, if you don't have Guardiola yet, fine, Guardiola. But Everton have Ipswich at home, Fulham away, Southampton at home in the next three. Like their defensive data is great.
yeah, but how much is your bench boost influencing your commentator?
Probably quite a lot. For those wondering, I, you know, I've got Areola as my backup goalkeeper, and I've got to play my bench boost at some point. So, like, I've wondered about doing Areola to Pickford so that I don't have to
Yeah.
play Raya, but then I can also bench boost both of them. But is it worth a hit? Like, I'm taking a hit to back against the Arsenal defense this week. Like, it just doesn't seem like a sensible thing to do.
Hey, guys, can you believe Harry still has his bench boost? I mean, amazing. Like,
I'm telling you now, I'm looking at when I'm going to play it, and I have absolutely like it's the worst bench boost I've ever. Like my plan is to play it in game week 37 if we don't get any doubles, and my bench is like Forest defense away at West Ham, Areola at home to Forest, where he might not even play because it's their last home game. Like Isak away at Arsenal. It's like great, brilliant, and Konza at home to Spurs. It's awful.
no, but you're just being tough on yourself because nobody had a successful bench boost this year, at least
Yeah.
from my observation. So, like, you're not losing anything, I feel. Like, if anything, you're gonna gain a few. Who knows? Who knows? You might get a 20, because usually the success point is probably 16 to 20 points for a bench boost. So
I'd
as
take
long as you're
anything over
hitting,
10.
exactly. If you're anything over 15, you're probably gaining 5 to 10 over the field. So not bad. Mhm.
People have said, oh, you could play it in game week 38. I've got Triple Palace going away to Liverpool in game week 38, so I'm not playing it then. That's for sure. It's got to get used in one of the weeks before that. But yeah, anyway, defensively, if you're buying, I think it's Everton or Forest. If you're buying this week, it's Everton. Apart from if you don't
Ipswich.
own Gavardio.
Oh, Everton defense sounds nice now that I look at it.
Yeah.
Huh.
The game week 38 fixtures, and I think a lot of us will see this when you get to game week 38, is that the fixtures are not good for our defenders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, who has a good defensive fixture on the final day of the season? Like, no one.
Crystal Palace, no. Man City, Guardiola, maybe.
Yeah, so City, Guardiola, okay, make up one of the
Arsenal.
slots. Arsenal, away at Southampton, and Bournemouth. We're all going to be
Not
taking
bad.
hits to triple up on Bournemouth on the final day at home to Leicester.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But Palace go away to Liverpool. Forest play Chelsea. Villa play Man United. A lot of the ones we already own don't have a good final day fixture.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out
We'll figure it out when we get there. But it is just worth noting, like any player you're buying now, you're going to keep until the end. So if you are looking
yeah.
at buying players, it's hard to recommend a specific defender to buy for someone because you might be in a position where you don't need a defender this week.
Mhm.
So 8 Nori could actually be a nice buy because he's got Brighton at home, Palace away, Brentford at home. So that's quite nice. But if you need a defender this week, then it's different. So it depends how it rotates with the rest of the players you've got.
That's true. I think Everton defensive entry point is now,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
we don't have transfers. So hmm. It's good. It's good. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do captaincy finally before we look at our teams. So captaincy this week, I think is interesting. We've got Rob T FPL's projections here. City predicted to score the most goals. Then it is Brentford. Then you've got the likes of Villa, Everton, Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle,
Yeah.
and West Ham. But only one team is predicted to, only two teams are predicted to score 2 or more goals this week.
Hmm.
Captaincy is wide open, and it's the same for every game week left this season, I think.
Yeah, exactly. What are you on right now?
I mean, I don't own Mbermo yet, but the plan is that.
All right. He's probably the most popular captaincy, I think.
I think Marmouche will be popular. It's the Friday night. I hate that.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like that. And Wolves have been really good recently.
Yeah, dude, the Wolves are right. Jose Sa, like legend of legends, you know.
The only thing on Wolves is they've won like 7 in a row, but the 7 teams they've beaten are the 7 teams below them in the league. It's like the exact teams below them. So there is a little bit of context needed there. But this week, I
Yeah,
think
but
it's wide open.
yeah, yeah.
Like De Bruyne
I captained him 2 weeks, maybe 33, right?
in the double.
It was such a huge risk, but it didn't feel right as the game was playing out. It was just it's really, really it's a real like what's the right word? Like I almost felt like I did it just to be even more different, so it didn't feel right. Like I don't have great confidence that it's a logical pick as a differential captain.
Every time it hits like an hour, I'm like, oh, have they announced the fixtures yet? Nope. Hurry up. I'm just having a look at if there was anything, but sadly not.
Right there, you're right.
Game week 36, I think there'll be a lot of people on City away at Southampton.
Hmm.
I think it will be the obvious one. Like, again, the fixtures are not great next week. Unless you go Chris Wood, if you've got him, home to Leicester. Great differential there.
Well, I'm
But,
surprised. A lot of people in the chat are saying KDB has a differential cap.
yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Marmoush and Mbeumo, very obvious. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe a defensive captain as well. Gavardio captain. Interesting.
Maybe. Yeah. Game week 36, Chris Wood, if you wanted it. Game week 37 is wide open, like Watkins.
Yeah.
Watkins will be popular. Liverpool are Brighton away. So Salah again.
Yep.
But because there's not loads of options, you could just punt. And if you get a return, like there will be captaincy blanks between now and the end of the season.
I think I'm going to be pretty aggressive with captaincy from here to the end.
What's your plan this week then?
Um, it's set on Marmoush right now. I don't know who I'm going to put in, but let's see. Let's see. KDB is very interesting.
Right, let's have a look at your team then. Your team is up now. Do you want me to read it out before it shows up, or have you got it?
Yeah, go ahead, but please, guys, ignore the bench order and starting
Okay.
order for defense.
So David, Raya in goal, Livramento, Munoz, Kivior, Konza, Saliba. You've got Sarr, Savinho, Salah, De Bruyne, Rogers, Mateta, Marmoush, Isak at the moment.
Yep, yep.
So how are you buying in Burmo?
Probably
Savinho?
Dino. Yeah,
Have
yeah.
you got the money?
I do have a. Let's see.
Sorry, there's just someone at my door. I'll leave you to talk about your team a minute.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I feel Harry. Um. So yeah, I don't know. Well, the solo stuff is tough. I don't know who my defensive lineup will be, starting lineup. Maybe you guys have some ideas. Captaincy is where I really want to differentiate myself. And then I'm gonna wait for Savinho news at the end. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now. Or I'm gonna keep him for one game week if I know he starts for sure.
Sorry, I was on mute to everyone in the chat. Cool. If let's say we knew that Savinho was going to start, would you just not buy Burmo?
I'm realizing that my only route to Mbeumo is De Bruyne.
So you're not selling.
Yeah, but I'm not
Do you
gonna
not?
sell KDB.
You don't have the money for Savinho.
No, I'm not. I'm just short. Yeah. Hmm.
Ooh. You got to
What if
find out.
KDB starts? What if KDB starts and Savinho doesn't start? What do I do then?
Then you take a hit, I think, and you do like Saliba to Everton defender,
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
and Savinho to Burmo.
Hmm.
Probably.
How much is Bowen?
7.5. He's cheaper.
Yeah, I think I can get to Bowen.
So you could do that, or you go Everton.
I might become a West Ham fan this week, Harry. This is
I
this is
don't.
the
I
team.
don't mind the hit because in game week 37, at the
Mhm.
moment, Palace have got Wolves. Newcastle are away, so Newcastle play Arsenal. So like having an Everton defender for you that week could be quite useful. So one to consider. Or you buy it, or you go and you buy a Forest defender that's useful for you next week because they've got Leicester at home.
It's just these defenders are so boring. They're just clean sheet, good fixture defenders. That's the issue I have with taking a hit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I get that. But it's just finding a way to do Savino to Mbermo then. Can you do Bowen for free?
7.5, you said?
7.6.
So, no,
So it's a hit regardless.
hit regardless.
Or you just play Rodgers.
Yeah. Those are like my bench is deep. So
Yeah.
all right, I need time to think about it, but
Okay.
okay.
Some options there. My team for this week. David Raya in goal. Gvardiol. At the moment, I've got Konza in. Munoz. Sarr, Salah, Rodgers, Foden in at the moment. Mateta, Marmoush, Isak with Saka, Williams, Milenkovic, Areola on the bench.
Mhm.
Yeah, plan is Foden to Mbermo, probably. Bench Saka, bench double Forest defence, which can only end well. I might play one of them over Konza because Villa can't keep clean sheets for anything. So Konza was the worst buy. Can you remind me next year never to buy Konza?
No, but it was just like we didn't realize he was going to be benched. Like
Yeah, but
he
but
uh,
what does he do?
he doesn't get benched.
The
That's what he
guy the
does.
guy scored 76 points this season.
I know, but that's his role. Like you just have a guy who doesn't get benched, but
He's
he's starting.
averaging just over 2 points a game.
I don't know.
He could
His
have a
name sounds
triple.
cool.
He could have a triple game week, and I still wouldn't want him in my team.
I
The
mean, at
one,
the same time, which defender are you going to go for at Aston Villa? The
well, if I
ultimate
was
troll.
buying now, I'd buy Luca Dean.
Exactly. At the time, he wasn't an option.
But now I wouldn't buy any of them because they can't keep how many clean sheets? He's kept 5 clean sheets this year
Hmm.
against Everton. Well, so they didn't keep a clean sheet in the first 14 games of the season. Is always a good stat. Everton, Southampton, Brentford, Brighton, Southampton, and that was their clean sheets. He nearly got a brace
Harry,
against PSG. Yeah, it's true. He did actually.
yeah. Is
But
it's Sarr over Rogers every day, or is it? Would you consider like if I'm talking about my team again, but
yeah, so
yeah.
I've had the decision because if I do like, let's say I did Foden to Mbermo and I do Saka to Bowen for a hit, I have to bench one
Mm,
of them. And my general inclination is to bench Rodgers, but I don't know why.
mm,
But that's my general thought is that I'd bench Rodgers.
mm.
But
Interesting.
I don't know. Like, I still just look at Sarr and think his attacking threat is better. But Rodgers has been good recently.
Yeah.
People
Something
saying
about
you,
Rogers or like points guaranteed. Like I don't know if
yeah.
that's the right term. Mm. Go ahead.
Part of me, I don't know. I just have Rodgers in my mind that he's just the one. If I have a benching decision, yeah, I bench Rodgers.
Yeah. Last
Um,
question for you. Are we overlooking the Isak captaincy this week?
he's got my vice captain at the moment, but Brighton are not great defensively, and
Yeah.
Newcastle have got a lot to play for. I don't hate it.
Yeah. And they've been scoring a ton, dude. It's just Isak isn't like part of the attacking returns.
Yeah, but I'd expect probably Newcastle to score 2 or 3 again this weekend.
Yeah, my point.
The captaincy is wide open.
It
I think
is.
most people will end up on Mbermo, but
Hmm.
Fulham on the beach, Forest still have a lot to play for. It's true. So maybe Rodgers is better than Saar. For me, taking a hit to bench one of them doesn't feel like it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I just take a hit and buy Jordan Pickford.
I
I
might
just
just back my. Go ahead.
I just love taking random hits for random players.
As in, like who?
I did it earlier on. I took a -8 to buy Munoz, to buy Ahmad, Enzo Fernandez, and I haven't taken a hit since. And maybe this is my time. A -8, -4 to buy Jordan Pickford with 4 weeks to go.
That's like such a like a subtle flex there because I gave you like 20 points that one
Yeah,
game.
it did. Yeah, it did. I was
Trying to be humble about it. Like, get out of here.
he's back in training. I saw today.
Yeah. You know what?
So
If
people saying Fulham are on the beach, but Fulham can get Europa Conference League.
hmm,
They're currently 8th. They're currently in a Europa Conference League spot.
hmm,
So I don't think Fulham are fully on the beach either.
hmm.
Um, yeah, who would you start, Konza or a Forest defender? Given I'm starting
Uh,
triple Palace,
I would definitely go Forest defender.
would you?
Yeah, man. Oh, they're playing Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then hedge your. Yeah, I wouldn't hedge your bet. I would go Konso then. Yeah. That's the way to play the game, dude.
Oh, but Villa defense, like as soon as Villa concede, I will just be like, "What was I doing? They can't
Yeah,
defend."
but it's the same thing. As soon as um, it's the opposite way, right? If Nottingham Forest don't concede, it's like what the
Yeah,
hell? Three players blanked, and
yeah.
it's like not going to make any difference in your. It's not going to dent your season at all. So go for the higher ceiling.
I don't think Konsa has a higher ceiling than anything. The
No, the
guy,
combination.
the
The
guy doesn't.
combination.
The guy doesn't have a
No,
high
no.
ceiling.
What I meant. Don't take it that way. I'm saying the combination of Crystal Palace plus Konza is gonna take you to the promised land, my friend.
I feel like, I feel like maybe I just start Milenkovic. What are Villa like defending set pieces? Where were they? Were on your nice little chart? Hang on.
Oh yeah, let's see that.
They have not conceded a single goal from set pieces. They are right at the top. They are the only team that has 0 goals conceded from set pieces this season. How many have Fulham conceded? I can't even
Look
see.
at this. Nikolai is hyping up Konza. There you go.
Fulham are third best. So I don't plan on getting a set piece goal from either of them.
Hmm.
We'll see. We'll see. Cool. That's a wrap.
Yeah,
Thank
have
you very
fun.
much,
Yeah.
Andy.
Oh, my pleasure. And yeah, I think good luck to everybody. I'll
We
just
still
keep it at that for today.
we still have a game to go tomorrow night. The game week is not
Yeah,
over for some of us. We're still waiting on fixtures as well, so be patient with your transfers. And 4 weeks left.
4 weeks left. Yeah, crazy.
Crazy.
How do you how do you feel?
It feels like it's gone so quickly. Because when there's doubles and stuff, you don't really think about it. And then when the doubles and blanks end, you're like, oh, well, that's that.
Maybe I know what you mean. I feel like the season went by. Maybe the last few 10 game weeks have gone by super fast, but the
It's
season feels very long.
it's when there's doubles and blanks, they go really like, because there's a lot to think about. So they come really quickly. And then when they finish, I'm like, oh, that's that. So
Mm.
hopefully we get a double in 36 to make something exciting, although I don't particularly want it.
Yeah. Yeah. My
Anyway,
my my
so
last
go.
comment for me is it's been I just want Sun to have because I've never been able to talk about Sun recently. I just want one final good season from him. That's it. So
Do you think he's going to
yeah,
leave?
to where though? You know, there's
I
nowhere
don't
to
know.
go.
I don't know.
Someone take him. Someone take him. But I mean, I don't know. Hopefully he stays and the team plays better next year. But just one more good season and that'll be good.
Cool. Thank you all very much for joining. Have a lovely rest of your Wednesday. Good luck this week. Remember, it's a Friday deadline. Have a good one, and we will see you all very soon.
Thank you guys.